This story is titled, I Discovered My Boyfriend Was Hiding His Friendship with an Ex and Only Told Me When I Found Out. I never expected love to be so complicated at my age. I thought I had seen enough in life to recognize the difference between trust and deception. But life has a cruel way of showing you that no matter how much you think you know, there's always room for heartbreak. My name is Karen. I'm 52 years old, and I've been with my boyfriend, Daniel, for 3 years. At our age, dating isn't about playing games. It's about companionship, honesty, and building something real. Or at least that's what I thought. Daniel was everything I wanted in a partner. Kind, thoughtful, and reliable. He made me feel safe, something I hadn't felt in a long time. I had been married before for over 20 years to a man who slowly drained the light out of me. Divorce was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to finally be happy. And when Daniel came into my life, I truly believed I had found that happiness. But there was always something off. Small things that I ignored because I wanted to trust him. The way his phone was always face down when we were together, how he hesitated before answering certain questions, the slight edge in his voice when I asked about his past relationships. One night, we were sitting on the couch watching an old black and white movie, something we both loved to do. I leaned my head against his shoulder, feeling content. He was scrolling through his phone, barely paying attention. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a name flash across his screen. Emily. The reaction was instant. A flinch. A quick, nervous tap as he swiped the notification away. "Who's Emily?" I asked, trying to keep my voice light. He laughed, too quickly. "Just an old friend." I let it go, but something in my gut twisted. An old friend? Why did that name sound familiar? That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, trying to piece it together. And then it hit me. He had mentioned an Emily once before in passing. His ex-girlfriend. The one he said he hadn't spoken to in years. The next morning, while he was in the shower, I did something I never thought I'd do. I picked up his phone. It was locked, of course. But his laptop was open on the kitchen table, and curiosity, no, something deeper, urged me forward. I clicked on his messages. There she was, Emily. The conversation wasn't just a few innocent texts. It went back months. "I miss talking to you. I think about you sometimes. She doesn't understand me the way you do." My heart stopped. My fingers trembled as I scrolled. Pictures. Old ones, new ones, inside jokes, confessions. Not outright cheating, but a closeness that cut through me like a blade. I shut the laptop, feeling like the floor had disappeared beneath me. The man who told me he loved me, who looked me in the eyes and promised me honesty, had been hiding this part of himself. I could hear the shower turning off. My mind raced. Do I confront him now? Do I wait? A part of me wanted to walk out the door and never look back. But another part, the part that still loved him, needed to hear what he had to say. When he came out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, he smiled at me. That same warm, disarming smile that had made me fall for him in the first place. But now, it felt hollow. I took a deep breath. "How long have you been talking to Emily?" His face changed instantly, the color drained from it. He blinked. "What are you talking about?" I didn't blink. "I saw the messages, Daniel." Silence. A long, heavy silence that stretched between us like an unspoken truth neither of us wanted to face. Then he sighed. "Karen, it's not what you think." That was the wrong thing to say. "Really? Because it looks like you've been emotionally invested in another woman this whole time." He ran a hand through his damp hair, avoiding my gaze. "I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this." I let out a sharp laugh, though nothing about this was funny. "You mean I'd react like a person who deserves honesty?" He sighed again, deeper this time, as if I was the problem. "She reached out to me a while ago. Just as a friend. We have history and—" "History?" My voice cracked. "Daniel, she's your ex, the woman you told me you cut out of your life. You lied to me." He rubbed his temples. "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you." I shook my head. "That's the same thing." Another silence. He sat down on the couch, exhaling heavily. I watched him, searching his face for some kind of remorse, but all I saw was discomfort, like he was the one being hurt here. I crossed my arms. "Do you still have feelings for her?" His eyes darted away. That was all the answer I needed. A deep pain bloomed in my chest, something far worse than anger. It was betrayal. It was heartbreak. It was the realization that I had been living in an illusion. "Karen," he started, but I put up a hand. "No," I whispered. "I just need a minute." I walked out of the room before he could see the tears forming in my eyes. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at my reflection in the vanity mirror. How had I let myself get here? Again? Was there something about me that made men think they could lie to me, that they could keep their options open while I gave them everything? The thought made my stomach turn. A soft knock at the door. His voice, gentle. "Can we talk?" I inhaled deeply. I had a choice. I could forgive him. Pretend this wasn't what it was. Let him spin his words and convince me that I was overreacting. Or I could finally stand up for myself. I wiped the tears from my cheeks. My heart was breaking, but something inside me was stirring. Something stronger than pain. I opened the door. Daniel looked at me, his face tense with worry. He reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "Tell me the truth," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. "If I hadn't found out, would you have ever told me?" His lips parted, but no words came out. That silence told me everything. I felt my heart break all over again, and then something else happened. I felt myself let go of the illusion, of the man I thought I loved, of the future I thought we were building. I straightened my spine. I deserve better than this. His eyes widened. "Karen, don't do this. It's not like that," I smiled sadly. "It is like that, Daniel, and you know it." His face crumbled. But for once, I didn't feel sorry for him. I turned and walked away, and this time I didn't look back. I walked outside into the crisp night air, my breath unsteady, my heart pounding like a war drum. The weight of the truth pressed against my chest, but there was something else, too. Something I hadn't felt in a long time. Clarity. For years, I had convinced myself that love meant sacrifice, that compromise was a necessity, that maybe, just maybe, I was asking for too much. But standing there, beneath the dim glow of the porch light, I finally saw it for what it was. I had settled. Again. The door creaked open behind me. Daniel stepped out, his expression tense. "Karen, please, can we just—" I turned sharply, my voice firmer than I expected. "No, Daniel, we can't." His jaw tightened. "So that's it? 3 years together, and you're just going to throw it away over a few messages?" I let out a bitter laugh. "A few messages? You told her you missed her. You told her I didn't understand you the way she did." My voice cracked, but I refused to break in front of him. "Do you have any idea what that does to a person? To know that the man I trusted has been emotionally invested in someone else?" He exhaled, running a hand down his face. "I wasn't cheating on you, Karen." I shook my head. "You don't have to touch someone to betray them, Daniel." Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. I could see the battle in his eyes, the desperate scramble for the right words, the excuse that would make me stay. But for once, I wasn't waiting for him to decide how this would end. "I'm leaving," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "I deserve more than this. And I think, deep down, you know that too." His lips parted like he wanted to argue, but he didn't. He just stood there, watching as I turned and walked back inside. Packing my things didn't take long. It's funny how quickly you realize what truly matters when you're leaving someone. Clothes, toiletries, a few sentimental trinkets, but not much else. Everything else, everything we had built together, felt hollow now. As I zipped up my suitcase, I heard him in the doorway. "Karen, please don't do this." I didn't stop packing. "You already did." He stepped forward, desperation lacing his voice. "I love you." I paused. My hands clenched the fabric of my sweater. I turned to face him, searching his eyes. Then why wasn't I enough? He had no answer. Tears burned at the corners of my eyes, but I blinked them away. "Goodbye, Daniel." And with that, I walked out of the house that once felt like home, knowing that I was finally choosing myself. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have you ever faced betrayal like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if you want more emotional and thought-provoking stories, stay connected by subscribing. Your support means the world.